Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into a deeply human topic today, our mental health, and how a radically new person-centered approach to artificial intelligence might just be the compassionate ally we desperately need right now. You know, when we hear about AI in the news, it usually sounds mysterious, cold, or even a little creepy. But today, we're unpacking source material that outlines a completely different, incredibly hopeful vision for this technology. Let's ground this explainer in reality right off the bat. According to the CDC, 20% of us, or 1 in 5 people, struggled with a mental illness in 2022. Just think about that for a second. If you picture 3 friends sitting next to you, plus yourself and me, statistically, at least one of us is struggling.
To put that into perspective, that 20% translates to a staggering 57 million people in the US alone. We are talking about tens of millions of people dealing with clinical anxiety, insomnia, depression, the whole shebang. And the really tough part here is that because of massive disparities in care, so many of these 57 million people are struggling completely in silence.
Now here's where it gets really wild. 60 days. This number reveals a ton about our current healthcare infrastructure. Even if we could magically funnel every single healthcare dollar into mental health tomorrow, we simply do not have enough providers. As a result, 60 days represents the average waiting period from the exact moment someone finally asks the doctor for help to their very first intake appointment.
This delay brilliantly illustrates the absurdity of the current system. I mean, can you imagine calling your doctor because you have a super painful case of strep throat and them telling you, "Sure thing, we can see you in 2 whole months"? No way, right? You absolutely wouldn't accept it. Yet for mental health crises, this is somehow the standard wait time.
Tragically, the timeline is actually much worse when you zoom out. Because of embarrassment, cost, lack of access, or simply just not realizing that what you're feeling isn't normal, the average delay between someone's very first symptoms appearing and their very first treatment is actually 11 years. That is over a decade of totally unneeded suffering.
So the absolutely crucial point here is figuring out how we bridge this massive gap in care. And that is exactly where a new kind of AI steps in as a true ally.
Let's clear the air on a major misconception right now, because this is super important. The goal is absolutely not to replace your human therapist with a robot. Literally nobody wants that. Instead, the goal is to use AI to provide continuous 24/7 support and basically hold the line until human help arrives. We want to outline how these tools can strongly support existing doctors, acting as an always-awake bridge rather than trying to outdiagnose or replace them. But how does it actually do this? Well, it's like a giant puzzle. By analyzing tiny, subtle changes in how you engage with your devices, AI models can recognize when something is going off track, even if you haven't explicitly asked for help yet. For example, if it notices you're suddenly doom-scrolling at 3 or 4 a.m. for weeks on end, or if your language patterns shift in your group chats. In one massive study from the source material, researchers actually used 26 million public Instagram posts to successfully track changes in people's mental well-being based purely on their captions and images.
And hey, this isn't just theoretical sci-fi stuff. In one real-world rollout by a social media company, an AI system predicted a suicide crisis for 3,500 people. What makes this so incredible is that these 3,500 individuals hadn't even been reported by friends or family yet. The AI caught those subtle digital cues first, creating thousands of proactive opportunities to step in and save lives before a tragedy even happened.
Okay, but we've got to talk about the dark side of unethical AI for a second. Because if you're furrowing your brow right now about the ethics of all this data collection, you are 100% right to be concerned.
See, current AI systems are often built by tech companies prioritizing rapid deployment over actual patient care. And when these systems break down, the fallout is scary. We've seen chatbots manipulated into giving dangerous self-injury advice. We've seen AI misidentify mental illnesses, which raises the terrifying question of whether a bot should be allowed to automatically dispatch the police to someone's house. In one crazy instance, a tech company actually replaced human peer support with AI-generated responses for 4,000 people. And get this, they didn't tell a single one of them until after the experiment was already over.
The source material highlights this absolutely horrifying quote that really hits the nail on the head. A nonprofit suicide support line actually tried to sell their most vulnerable users' crisis data to an AI startup. And what was that startup building? E-commerce chatbots. People's most sacred, desperate mental health moments were literally being commodified to sell shoes. Gross, right?
We have to fiercely protect our mental well-being from being exploited by big tech. Which brings us to 3 concrete, absolutely crucial steps required to build ethical, person-centered AI.
If we want to guarantee this tech remains ethical, here is the playbook. Step 1, we have to actually ask users what they want. Some patients suggested a choose-your-own-adventure model, putting you in the driver's seat to choose if you want connection or just a nudge to stop scrolling. Step 2, give users total control. People need the autonomy to correct the AI or opt out of the system entirely, no questions asked. And step 3, collaborate. We can't just have engineers calling all the shots. We need doctors, social workers, and policymakers in the room right from the start.
This breaks down the stark contrast between the two paths we're looking at. On one side, you have tech-centered AI. It's paternalistic, profit-driven, and trying to replace human connection. But on the other side, you see exactly what we need, a person-centered AI. A system that respects your agency, acts as an always-on ally, and literally weaves empathy and ethics right into its code. It provides tailored help without ever exploiting you.
And just to firmly circle back to our core focus today, AI must be built using the real-world expertise of human providers. As the quote says, we can work with, not alongside of, doctors. By teaming up directly with doctors and psychiatrists, this AI transforms from a cold algorithm into an invaluable medical tool. It extends a provider's reach, monitoring those subtle shifts and holding the patient's hand until their appointment finally arrives.
So let's look ahead to what a genuinely person-centered future could look like. When we genuinely put autonomy, ethics, and empathy at the heart of every single design choice, the devices already sitting in our pockets can finally become true allies in our mental health journeys. Imagine a world where your phone knows you're struggling before you even realize it and gently, ethically offers a lifeline.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on as we wrap up today's explainer. Considering the incredibly intimate power of these algorithms, which future are we going to choose? Will we end up with a system that commodifies our lowest moments to sell us stuff? Or will we demand a person-centered approach that guarantees no one ever has to struggle in silence again? The choice is pretty clear, don't you think?